Hey, what's up everybody? This is Nightwing2303 from kicksoncourt.com. Today I just wanted to give a first impression on a couple pairs of ANTA sneakers. These are actually the Rondo 1, or the RR1. And then this here is actually not a signature, but it does have his logo on the tongue there. And this is a team shoe that was released overseas for Rondo, or consumers I guess. But I don't believe he wears this pair. So, because I don't know the name of these things, I'm just going to do them all together. So we're going to start off first with the Rondo 1. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright guys, so here is the traction. You can see that it is herringbone full length. This actually reminds me a lot of the Hyperdunk 2011, just the way that it's placed in little squares here. With the Hyperdunk, plenty of flex grooves and things like that, so flexibility should be okay. The rubber itself, it feels kind of weird. It doesn't feel super sticky or super hard. It just has like a weird feeling to it. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, so I don't know how well it's going to grip. It just has like a weird kind of like filmy layer on it. I'm not sure how to explain it, but so that it might take some break-in time. Some leathers have, or not leather, some rubbers have glue or residue and things like that, so sometimes break-in time is needed. So that's what I'm assuming with this pair here. So let's go ahead and move on to the cushion. So the cushion itself is basically this thin little line here of gel. I believe this is what they call Super A Jelly. I don't know if it's super or if it's just A Jelly, but it's gel, and it's actually only placed like right here along the outrigger. It's not anywhere else. Everything else from the heel and forefoot is foam. There is, I'll try to leave a link in the description box, but there's a deconstructed, like there's a company overseas, a blog overseas that will take shoes like this and they'll basically take them apart and show you exactly what they're made of. And this was one of those shoes, so I'll try to put the link in the description box if I can remember. And yeah, so it showed that the cushion was only like literally like right here, which honestly it seems pointless. So most of the cushion is just going to be from the foam itself. Now, from what I was told from designers of the shoe here, I don't know if they designed this shoe, but I know they designed the other Rondo kind of team model or whatever that I'll show in a little bit. They said that Rajon Rondo actually gets different pairs than the public. So according to ANTA, you know, regular players or consumers, especially overseas where they're like kids and stuff, targeted, you know, consumers and stuff, so they're pretty cheap shoes over there. They don't have the same specifications and requirements as the NBA athlete does, so the materials on his pair and the cushion on his pair are quite a bit different than what this one, the retail version, actually is. They'll look the same and stuff, but you know, the whole thing is basically an upgrade for him versus what we get, which is, I guess you could say, basic. So as you can see, the materials here, we have a mixture between a synthetic leather, this is a synthetic nubuck, and then on this side here it's just a fuse. Again, Rondo plays in something a little bit more premium. So this, to me, I mean, it's pretty thin, it's malleable, pliable, whatever you want to call it, like however we want to say, and it seems form-fitting, which is nice. So when I put them on, the last didn't fit too narrow or too wide or anything like that, so I think that this might stretch nicely, especially on this side for people with wide feet, while still giving you some kind of containment with the more, I guess, durable TPU-based material, the plastic. So overall, the materials in general feel a little bit cheap, but I think that they might play just fine on court. Little break-in time, or if any, because I mean it's pretty soft, will be required, so I don't think that'll be a big issue. But yeah, it's definitely not a premium shoe, and over there they don't price it as such. I think these are like $50 or $60 max overseas, versus something that US dollars, something like from a bigger brand would be a lot more in comparison than this. As far as their fit goes, these fit me just fine. However, their sizing is all over the place. You'll see that in the other shoe too, because they're two different sizes. So this one here, it says it's a US size 8, but they literally fit me perfectly. So they fit like a size 9. So if you're gonna, you know, try to buy these, I would recommend contacting the place where I got these from, which is highbasketballshoes.com. Link is going to be in the description box below. Just let them know what your US size is, and then they'll do the rest of the work for you. All I did was tell them I need a size 9 US, and then they sent me this, the other shoe, the other Rondo, and the other, the Kevin Love shoe. They're literally all 3 different sizes, but they all fit like a size 9, and none of them are a size 9, except for the Wades. So something's going on with the sizing with all of these brands, so where it's just not consistent. So getting a third party like that to kind of help you out, figure out what size you'll need for your actual US size, is going to be beneficial to you. As far as everything else, the fit felt fine. The containment felt fine as well. You can see inside, or hopefully you can see it, but there's these big ass pads right here on the sides. They're going to cup your Achilles area, and then they got the heel notch as well. The inside lining feels good. The insole is really nice, something that I should have shown in the cushion section. But yeah, it's a nice little crash pad insole right there. And then everything else as far as the fit goes, I mean, I can't really tell until you start playing them. I don't know how supportive the material is going to be after you start playing and all that stuff. I just know that from a basic try-on, they felt okay. Ventilation actually is a point in which they actually look like they'll excel in. You can see that there's some lines there. It's just the lines are ventilated, not the whole mesh panel. But yeah, so there's that. And you have perforations on the toe, as well as on the sides. So it's not going to be crazy ventilated, but it'll be very well ventilated in comparison to some other shoes. And then you got that tongue as well, so it shouldn't be too bad. Their overall support is really going to kind of factor in on that whole material and the fit section. So, you know, however those play out after you start, you know, wearing them down and things like that, that's really going to be the deciding factor as far as how well they'll support you on court. Sorry. And then right here they have what they call the auto arch, and it's basically just a TPU shank, and it's for torsional support, arch support. So you have some range of motion on that side, and then none, literally. Like I can't bend the shoe this way at all, so it's going to have some very nice torsional support. So it'll have good mobility from this side, so if you cut, move, basically guard moves and things like that, and then if you stop, you're not going to flex that shoe over and roll it over. So I think the support will be okay overall, but again, it's really going to decide, or be a factor. The materials are really going to be the deciding factor in that. Alright guys, so this is the Rondo team shoe. The traction though looks pretty good. It reminds me of the Hyper Posit, the way that it's mapped out. But there's a lot more herringbone on this, so I think that these are actually going to be really awesome. And the rubber feels nice. Feels nice and hard, kind of grippy. I think that this might actually perform better than the actual Rondo signature from a traction perspective, just off of first impression. And then, I don't know how well this is going to work though, because it's flat. So as soon as dust gets in there, it might clog up, and that's a key area where you're going to need some grip right underneath the ball of your foot right here. So we'll see how that goes. But overall, it feels good, it looks good, so hopefully it plays just as well as it looks. Now the cushion on these guys is crazy. This is the Super A jelly for sure, and that's what I was saying on the other shoe. I'm not sure if it's Super because it was just small, and this is Super, so maybe it just means full length. I'm not really sure, but this basically is a giant gel pad. It's not an Air Max unit, it's not anything like that. It's pretty firm if you press on it, so it's nice and stable. And what it reminds me of when I put it on was the gel inserts that you get, like a Dr. Scholl's or whatever, like an insole, but obviously magnified and full length. So these were really comfortable, and I'm actually pretty excited to play in something like this because I've only really seen gel in insoles and then in ASICS running shoes. So this will be pretty interesting to kind of check out. So materials on this guy, just like the other Rondo shoe, this is predominantly fuse or plastic. Feels very similar to the LeBron 10, so it's a nice kind of fuse. And then you have pretty obvious synthetics, which are pretty cheap, right along here. I wish that the fuse would have wrapped all the way down, because I think that that lateral support from the fuse would be better off than a stitch placement right here, because this could bust at the seams, which we've been actually seeing quite often in some old shoes on the NBA floor. Those players are wearing old shoes, so don't blame the sneaker companies. It's, you know, the players like what they like, and so if they choose to wear an older model, it's just not going to last 5 years. So that's just kind of what's happening. But this is an area right here where I probably wouldn't have done that. I would have just had that material go one piece and then start this right back here. So, but, you know, that's just me. So the fit, again, these ones here are a size 8 as well, but they fit like a size 9. So again, if you plan on buying a shoe from this brand from Actually, I'll say this. If you plan on buying a shoe from overseas that you have not like ever worn before, whoever you're buying it from, like if it's from a legitimate person like this website that I got these from, send them an email and say, hey, I wear US size 11. What shoe do you recommend, or what shoe size do you recommend for me? And they'll give you the best option, because again, that's what I did. I just said, hey, I wear size 9 US, and they sent me size 8. And it obviously says right here US size 8, and they definitely don't fit like a US size 8. They fit like a US size 9. So yeah, it's just kind of weird. So yeah, just hit them up and say, hey, I was just wondering, and they'll give you the better like option than me. Otherwise, it's I guess safe to assume to order a whole size down from your regular size, because that's basically what these are. Ventilation on this pair is even more enhanced than the actual Signature. You got full-on mesh panels here on the medial side as well, and then you also have that breathable mesh tongue. So a couple of perforations here. These aren't going to do much, but yeah. So that's pretty much what it is. Not anything too fancy. Better use of the fuse than the other pair, in my opinion. So I think these will be a little bit better as far as airflow goes. So the overall support, once again, really going to kind of rely on the materials themselves and the way that they fit, the way that they hold up on court. And then the rest of it, you have that big old bag there, so it's not going to flex too badly. And then you have this outrigger right here, which you can see kind of jets out. So you have a nice wide stable base. And so I think overall it'll be pretty good. Also, something that's interesting is that the bag is internal on the medial side, so when you do like moves like that, and you kind of push off and things like that, you're not going to have this gel unit compress too much, so you'll be stable and more firm with that foam than you would on this side, which, like with the LeBron 10, some of us like to stop right here and then the bag compress a little bit, you roll a little bit. That's where you kind of notice some instability issues with full-length units. So having this here, it'll be kind of a nice touch as far as giving some extra support and push off. Alright guys, so that pretty much takes care of my first impression for both of these Rondo shoes. Again, this is the Rondo 1, the actual Signature, and then this is just a team model that you can get overseas. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all your support. Make sure to stay tuned to my site, kicksoncourt.com, for all your performance needs, as well as the upcoming performance review on both models. And I have a bunch of shoes lined up already, which I wasn't expecting to have this many so quickly, but so just bear with me. I'm kind of backed up already, so I'll get these all out within the coming like weeks. Give me like a couple weeks for each shoe, and that way I can play in them like in enough time and stuff, and then I'll get them out there. So just be patient with me, and that'll be great. So thank you guys, and until next time, have a good one.